You have always known. Before the first word ever formed in your throat, before the ink of memory stained the parchment of your mind, you have always known. It is not a knowledge that can be taught, not the kind that wears the costume of facts or hides behind the logic of textbooks. No, it is the knowing that pulses like a second heartbeat, deeper than blood, quieter than breath. A knowing that weeps when you ignore it and dances when you remember. From the moment you were born, there was something vast curled inside you, like a sleeping god. Not a mythic deity of thunder and flame, but a quiet, infinite intelligence, wrapped in silence and light. And even before you had language to name it, your infant eyes searched the ceilings of your crib, not for shapes, but for portals, for openings, for the secret stairway that would lead you home. For you have never fully believed that this world was all there is, and you were right. There is a doorway behind your thoughts, a chamber hidden in the cathedral of your mind, sealed not by locks, but by forgetfulness. You have walked past it 1,000 times. You have felt its gravity in your loneliest moments when the silence grew too loud to ignore. You have heard its echo when you stare into the distance and feel something watching, not with eyes, but with presence, not judging, but waiting, as if the cosmos itself is holding its breath for you to remember. This video is not an instruction, it is an invocation. It does not aim to fill your mind with knowledge, but to peel back the veil that has long obscured what you already carry within. What you are about to witness is not the installation of a new truth, but the awakening of an old one. A truth that slumbers beneath your routines, your fears, your dreams. A truth that cannot be proved, only remembered. A truth that says, you are not limited. You are not broken. You are not separate. You are a vessel of stars wearing the costume of skin. You are the dreamer and the dream, the observer and the observed. You are the question and the answer that hides behind it. And your brain, your miraculous, electric, ancient brain, is not a prison. It is a portal, a bridge between the finite and the infinite. It is not a tool for survival. It is an altar for illumination. And yet, they taught you to see it as a machine, a biological engine, useful only for solving problems, memorizing equations, and obeying systems. They trained you to treat it like a calculator, to strip it of its soul. But your mind is not a machine. It is a mystic, a whispering oracle, a receiver of transmissions from realms beyond language and logic. Every time you daydream, it listens to the music of another world. Every time you feel awe, it lights up in recognition, like a lighthouse remembering the sea. There is a reason the great mystics, poets, and prophets have always spoken in paradox and poetry. They understood something the modern world has forgotten, that truth does not always speak in straight lines, that the deepest revelations come dressed in silence and metaphor, that what cannot be analyzed must be felt, and what cannot be named must be remembered. You are standing at the edge of a great remembering. You have felt it coming, the soft pull at the base of your spine, the dreams that no longer feel like dreams, the strange déjà vu that paints your days in mystery. You are being called, not by something outside of you, but by the part of you that never forgot, the ancient you, the timeless you, the boundless you, the you that once danced in temples of starlight and whispered to the wind before you ever had a name. So now, I ask you, are you ready to remember? Not just with your mind, but with your whole being, with your breath, with your bones, with the part of you that hears music in silence and sees light in the dark. For this is not just about brain power. This is about soul power. This is about accessing the infinite intelligence that has always been yours, but which you were taught to doubt, to dismiss, to forget. It is time to unlearn the noise, to return to the source, to place your palm against the hidden door inside your mind and feel the warmth behind it, the warmth of a universe that has never stopped believing in you, the warmth of a fire that still burns in your soul, waiting to be fanned by your attention. Breathe. Close your outer eyes. Open your inner ones. This is your invitation. not to improve yourself, but to return to your original self. The one who has no limits, the one who remembers how to think without boundaries, to imagine without fear, to know without doubt. The door is not locked, it never was. You are the key, and it's time to turn. Close your eyes and imagine for a moment that the world you call real is but a single layer of a far deeper reality. Beneath the concrete of logic, under the surface of daily life, there is a vast, living memory, woven not from time, but from timelessness. A memory that doesn't fade, but waits for you to slow down, to soften, to look inward long enough to hear its voice. A voice so old, it predates sound. This is not fantasy. This is your forgotten truth. You were born into a dream and then taught to forget you were dreaming. As a child, you wandered through the world with wide eyes and open pores. Every leaf was a messenger, every shadow a story. The wind didn't just blow, it whispered. The stars weren't distant, they watched. You lived in constant dialogue with the unseen. You knew that behind every object, behind every moment, was a secret passage leading to something eternal. And then, slowly, you were trained to stop seeing, to trade wonder for information, imagination for instruction, knowing for memorization. They told you to grow up, but in doing so, you grew away. You see, the truth isn't that we must learn to think better, it's that we must unlearn how we've been taught to think. The brain, in its unbound state, is not a filing cabinet, but a prism, not a container, but a canvas, not a hierarchy of knowledge, but a symphony of perception. But when it is fed only repetition, only noise, only rules, it forgets how to sing. It forgets the language of mystery. It forgets the path back to the dream. This dream, this deeper layer, is not something new. It is something ancient, something primal. The indigenous people, the mystics, the oracles, they all spoke of this same reality with different names. They called it the spirit world, the akasha, the field, the inner temple, a place where all knowledge exists, not as data, but as vibration, a place where past and future blur, and all things are connected by frequency, by resonance, and your brain, when awakened, is the antenna. But here is the paradox. The more you chase the dream with force, the more it vanishes. The more you try to understand it with logic, the more it slips through your fingers. For this deeper truth is not captured, it is allowed. It is not solved, it is surrendered to. It is not an equation, it is an atmosphere. And when you become quiet enough, receptive enough, it begins to reveal itself. Think back to the moments you've touched this realm without realizing. The déjà vu that left you breathless. The dream that told you something before it happened. The unshakable feeling that a stranger's eyes once belonged to someone you loved. These are not anomalies. These are fragments of the greater dream, the one you came from and the one you've been trying to return to ever since. You are not a body looking out into a world. You are consciousness dreaming of being a body, exploring itself through 1,000 reflections. The dream within the dream is that you ever believed you were separate from others, from the earth, from the stars, from the intelligence that pulses through all things. This illusion is the veil, and lifting it is the first step toward unlocking full brain power. True intelligence, the kind that builds pyramids aligned with celestial bodies, that channels symphonies from silence, that heals without medicine, is not mechanical. It is mystical. It does not rush. It listens. It hums. It speaks in symbols. It guides through intuition, and it lives within you, right now, quietly waiting beneath the clutter of conditioned thought. The brain in its highest form is a gateway, a sacred structure that can collapse time and space, decode cosmic codes, and allow the universe to dream itself awake through your eyes. But to access it, you must slow down. You must return to the frequency of awe. You must become as a child again, not naive, but open. Open enough to see that the world you were taught is just the surface, that beneath it there are layers, and beneath those layers, light. You are a walking memory of something sacred, something that knew how to create with thought, how to heal with sound, how to remember with feeling, something that was never meant to forget. But the forgetting was part of the path. The dream had to deepen so the awakening could be real. And now, here you are, on the edge of remembering. So breathe. Let the dream wash over you. Let the boundaries of logic dissolve. You are not here to escape reality. You are here to expand it, to awaken inside the dream and realize that you are the dreamer, the dreamed, and the dreaming all at once. And in that realization, something extraordinary begins. The brain opens, the heart synchronizes, the soul speaks, and the forgotten truth becomes the foundation of a new kind of thinking, a thinking without edges, a knowing without doubt, a remembering that cannot be undone. This is where the unlocking begins, not with effort, but with surrender, not with answers, but with wonder, not with more thought, but with the kind of presence that turns thought into revelation. Welcome to the forgotten truth. Welcome to the deeper dream. Welcome back to yourself. What if everything you've been taught to seek outside you has always been inside, whispering patiently behind the noise of your thoughts? What if the secret to unlimited thought, to boundless creativity, to unimaginable understanding was never a technique, but a memory? What if, instead of pushing your mind harder, you allowed it to unfold itself like a lotus blooming under moonlight? What if you didn't need to chase greatness, but simply remember your original vastness? Let these questions fall into the still water of your awareness like stones dropped into a sacred lake. Watch the ripples. Feel how something in you begins to stir, not in your intellect, but in your intuition. These questions are not puzzles to be solved. They are doorways. They are echoes of the deeper voice, the one that doesn't speak in words but in wonder, the one that existed long before your name. Why are you here, really? Not just to survive or to follow a script, not just to gather possessions or praise. What is it that called you into this life, this body, this breath? Have you ever truly asked yourself, who are you when you stop trying to be what the world expects? When you sit alone in silence without a role to play? Who is there? What remains when all the labels fade, when all the noise recedes? That presence, that stillness, is not emptiness. It is you, the real you, the one who has always been watching. Now ask, what is thought? Not in the academic sense, not as brain chemistry or logic circuits. What is thought as lived experience? Where do ideas come from, truly? That moment before a thought arises. Where is it born? And how does it arrive, perfectly formed, like a whisper from nowhere? Have you ever wondered? Could it be that your thoughts are not your own, but gifts? That they float to you through unseen dimensions, carried on the breath of spirit, the hum of the universe? Could it be that your mind is not the creator of thought, but the receiver, the interpreter, the vessel? Ask yourself this. Have you ever thought a thought that wasn't taught? One that came like lightning in the night, like a sacred accident? And did it not feel more true than anything you had studied, memorized, or obeyed? That is the voice of the deeper mind, the infinite mind, the one that belongs not just to you, but to something greater flowing through you. What if there is no separation between your brain and the stars? What if the same intelligence that spins galaxies is what lights up in you when you close your eyes and dare to wonder? What if your skull is not a cage, but a skylight? What if your thoughts are constellations drawn in electric ink across the infinite canvas of your being? Are you afraid to think freely, not just politically, but cosmically? Have you noticed how society praises logic and mocks mystery? How the unmeasurable is dismissed and the unknowable is feared? And yet, have you not felt, deep in your marrow, that the greatest truths are those we can't quite explain? That the most meaningful moments in life, the ones that shift something in you, are the ones that escape language? What do you know that you do not remember knowing? Let that question linger. Let it hang in the air around you like incense in an ancient temple. Because the moment you stop trying to answer it is the moment it begins to work its magic. It is a spell, not to control, but to awaken, to stir the parts of you that have been dormant. What if your brain is not waiting to be filled, but to be opened? What if the key is not more thought, but more presence? And what if, in that presence, you can unlock the limitless mind that has always been yours? There is a key, not a physical object, not a secret code hidden in ancient scrolls, but a subtle shift, a secret dance between awareness and surrender, intention and letting go. This key unlocks the doorway, where thought transforms into something greater than itself, into pure creative magic. Magic is not mere illusion. It is the art of transforming reality by accessing the deep, unseen currents that flow beneath the surface of the ordinary. It is the language of the soul speaking through symbols, images, and intuition. It is the sacred power of your brain when it remembers how to listen, how to flow, how to become one with the endless sea of possibility. The hidden key is presence, the alchemical fusion of focused awareness and receptive silence. When you hold your mind in this delicate balance, the usual walls between thinker and thought dissolve. Ideas do not come as laborious effort, but as spontaneous gifts. Insights arise from nowhere. Solutions appear like stars in a dark sky. Your brain becomes not a taskmaster, but a temple where inspiration dances. This presence is not easily won. It is not a place you can force yourself into. It demands patience, trust, and a willingness to surrender old patterns of control. It asks you to stop struggling and start listening, to stop pushing and start receiving, to quiet the chatter and hear the music underneath. In this sacred silence, thought becomes magic. The ancient mystics knew this well. They practiced meditation, chanting, ritual, and silence, not as escapes, but as portals to this living presence. They understood that the greatest power lies not in external achievement, but in inner transformation. That the universe answers the mind that can hold paradox, mystery, and stillness all at once. Science today hints at this too. Quantum physics reveals a universe where observer and observed are one, where particles dance to the music of probability and consciousness. Your brain is the microcosm of this cosmic dance, capable of collapsing possibilities into reality, shaping worlds with the power of thought. But beware the trap of the intellect that wants to own this magic. The hidden key cannot be grasped by force or ego. It must be welcomed as a guest, invited gently, nurtured with reverence. When you try to control it, it slips away like smoke. When you embrace it, it transforms your mind into an instrument of wonder. This is how thought becomes magic, not by adding more knowledge or working harder, but by becoming a clear channel for the infinite intelligence that flows through you, by opening the gates of perception beyond the ordinary, beyond the known, into the realm where miracles are not exceptions, but natural law. You are standing at the threshold of this mystery. The key is in your hands. Will you turn it? Will you open the door? You are not merely a solitary mind, enclosed within the fragile walls of your skull. You are the universe perceiving itself through countless prisms of light and shadow. Each neuron firing in your brain is a ripple in the cosmic ocean, a reflection of the vast intelligence that flows through every star, every blade of grass, every whisper of wind. To understand your brain's limitless power is to recognize that you are a mirror, a sacred glass catching the infinite dance of creation and folding it back upon itself. Look closely now, past the surface chatter of your thoughts. Can you feel the deep stillness beneath? The quiet place where no language lives. That space is not empty. It is full of the echoes of galaxies, the heartbeat of ancient trees, the pulse of starlight folding into the night. It is the wellspring of all knowing, the silent witness behind every idea, every emotion, every flicker of consciousness. You have always known this place, though perhaps you forgot. The mystical traditions speak of it as the mirror of the soul, the void of potential, the source of reflection. Here, time dissolves and space curves. Here, dualities like self and other, subject and object begin to blur and dissolve. You are both observer and observed, wave and ocean, breath and wind. Your thoughts and feelings are reflections on this mirror, shadows dancing on the walls of your inner cave. But the mirror itself is infinite and clear, untouched by the distortions of fear, desire, or doubt. When you can rest in this truth, when you can remember that you are the mirror and the reflection, your brain's boundaries begin to expand, and you touch the edge of limitless thinking. Imagine for a moment the ripple effects of this understanding. If your mind is not isolated but intrinsically linked to the whole cosmos, then every idea you nurture is a star born anew in the sky of possibility. Every shift in your inner landscape echoes through the fabric of reality. Your thoughts are not mere flickers in a dark room, they are the sacred light that illuminates the path ahead. And what of the shadow side? The parts of you that resist this vision? The fears, the doubts, the stories of separation that pull you back into illusion? These too are reflections, parts of the mirror that have been clouded by the dust of conditioning and pain. But even these shadows are sacred, for they invite you to deepen your gaze, to embrace your whole self, and to remember that wholeness is found not in perfection, but in acceptance. You are the cosmic mirror reflecting back the mystery of existence. Your brain is not a cage, but a gateway. Every thought, every dream, every burst of inspiration is an invitation to remember who you truly are, an infinite being woven from stardust and silence. Rest now in this knowing. Let the cosmic dance play out in your mind. See yourself as the universe's own reflection, a sacred participant in the eternal unfolding of being. And know that the key to unlocking your brain's full power lies not in force, but in surrender. Surrender to the mystery, to the beauty, to the boundless depth of your own soul. When you remember this, your thinking knows no bounds. Your creativity flows like a river without banks. Your wisdom rises like the sun over a horizon that stretches beyond sight. You are the cosmic mirror. You are the infinite reflection. You are the awakened dreamer. There is a quiet call, a soft murmur beneath the rush of everyday noise, a sacred whisper meant only for you. It is the voice of the sleeper within, the part of you that remembers the boundless mind that once was and always will be. This invitation does not shout or demand. It invites with the tenderness of dawn's first light, coaxing you gently to awaken, to rise from the slumber of conditioned thought and into the vast expanse of your own infinite intelligence. Listen closely. Can you hear it? That subtle nudge beneath the surface, that pulse in your chest, that flutter of recognition in your heart. It is your soul's way of saying, remember who you are, remember your power, remember the vastness that lies beyond the limits you have been taught to accept. This is no ordinary awakening. It is a return, a homecoming to the essence of your being. The sleeper within is not lost. It has merely been covered by layers of distraction, fear, and forgetfulness. Like a seed beneath frozen earth, it waits for the right season to bloom. The path to awakening is not one of forcing or striving, but of gentle tending, of creating space, embracing stillness, and welcoming the unknown with open arms. Imagine your mind as a vast garden. For too long, weeds of doubt and limitation have choked its soil, obscuring the vibrant flowers of creativity, insight, and limitless thought. This invitation is to clear the ground, to water the roots, to breathe life into what has been dormant. It asks you to release what no longer serves you, the fears that bind, the judgments that restrict, the stories that diminish your light. Awakening begins with a single breath, a conscious inhalation of possibility, a slow exhalation of all that weighs you down. It asks you to look inward, not with judgment, but with curiosity, to meet yourself with kindness, to honor the sacred spark within even when it flickers uncertainly. It is a sacred dance between patience and surrender, between courage and trust. As you awaken the sleeper within, you begin to see with new eyes. The world around you shifts, not because it has changed, but because you have. What once seemed ordinary becomes miraculous. What once felt like limits become doorways. Your brain no longer fights against its own nature, but flows in harmony with it, unlocking doors that once seemed sealed tight. This awakening is a personal revolution. It is the reclaiming of your birthright, the ability to think without boundaries, to imagine without fear, to create with infinite potential. It is the recognition that your mind is not a prisoner, but a pilgrim on a journey of endless discovery. But remember, awakening is not a destination. It is a living, breathing process. Some days the path will feel clear and radiant, other days shadowed and uncertain. Both are necessary. Both are sacred. Both are part of the unfolding story of your limitless mind. So, will you answer the call? Will you rise with the dawn of your own awakening? Will you open the hidden door and step into the vastness that awaits? The invitation is always here. The key is always in your hand. The sleeper within waits patiently, lovingly, ready to awaken at your gentle touch. Breathe deeply, trust the journey, and begin. Now, as you rest in this moment of awakening, let the sacred echo of these truths ripple gently through your being. You have journeyed beyond the familiar borders of thought and entered a realm where mind and mystery dance as one, where the infinite whispers softly through the corridors of your soul. This echo is not just sound, it is a vibration that lingers, a sacred resonance that calls you to remember again and again who you truly are. You are the dreamer, the dreamed, and the dreaming. You are the cosmos reflecting upon itself in a mirror of endless light and shadow. You carry within you a power as old as stars and as deep as silence, a power that is not confined by reason or limited by logic, but expands through presence, through wonder, through love. This power is your birthright. It has never left you, only been veiled by layers of forgetfulness and distraction. But now, with every breath, with every heartbeat, you draw closer to the source that is stillness and movement, silence and song, shadow and light, the source that knows no limits, no boundaries, no end. Carry this echo into your days. Let it soften your thoughts and widen your vision. Let it dissolve the barriers between what is and what could be. Let it awaken the limitless mind that waits patiently beneath the noise. For in this awakening lies not only your freedom, but the awakening of all that you touch. You are a living temple of infinite possibility. Your brain is a gateway to the sacred, a bridge between the finite and the eternal. When you remember this, when you live from this truth, your thinking knows no bounds. Your creativity flows without fences. Your life becomes a reflection of the limitless sky. And so, the echo returns to silence, leaving behind the stillness of knowing. Let yourself rest here, in the sacred pause between breaths, between thoughts, between worlds. Let this moment be a quiet ceremony, a sacred invitation to return again and again to the hidden key inside you. The journey of unlocking full brain power is not a race, but a dance. Not a conquest, but a surrender. It is the eternal unfolding of the soul's great mystery, an endless becoming that is also a profound remembering. May this sacred echo guide you, inspire you, and awaken you, today, tomorrow, and always. You are limitless. You are infinite. You are home